In the heart of the ancient woods, Fripp, a magnificent red fox, patrolled his domain. His paws moved like whispers over the mossy ground, his heart swelling with a quiet pride. He was the guardian of this realm, a silent sentinel amidst the towering trees. But one day, the forest's peaceful symphony was shattered by a desperate cry. Fripp's ears twitched, his senses on high alert. Without a moment's hesitation, he abandoned his patrol and bolted towards the sound, his body a blur of fiery red against the green tapestry of the woods. He burst through the undergrowth to a horrifying sight. At the very edge of a treacherous cliff, a young human boy teetered, his small body frozen in fear, just inches from a fatal fall. There was no time to think. Instinct took over. In a flash of pure speed, Fripp launched himself forward. His jaws, surprisingly gentle, clamped onto the thick fabric of the boy's shirt. With every ounce of his strength, he dug his claws into the earth and pulled. The boy tumbled backward, landing safely on solid ground, gasping but unharmed. But the danger wasn't over. Fripp's sensitive ears picked up new sounds, angry shouts. A group of humans had appeared on the beach below, their faces twisted with fear and misunderstanding. Seeing the fox and the boy, they assumed the worst and began to advance, their intentions clearly hostile. Fripp immediately placed himself between the boy and the approaching threat. His fiery red fur bristled, his body tensed. He knew in that instant that these humans, driven by their own panic, were a far greater danger than any predator lurking in his forest. With a low, rumbling growl that vibrated deep in his chest, Fripp lunged towards the group. He didn't attack, but his fierce display was enough. The humans, startled by his courage and ferocity, stumbled back and then turned, retreating in a confused clamor. The battle was won, but Fripp knew this was just the beginning. He turned back to the boy, his gaze softening. He gently nudged the child away from the cliff and towards the safety of the trees. The human world was too dangerous. Fripp led the way deeper into the forest, his sharp eyes constantly scanning their surroundings. The boy, surprisingly, followed without question. His initial fear was slowly melting away, replaced by a wide-eyed wonder at the magical world unfolding around him. He marveled at the dappled sunlight filtering through the canopy, the scurrying of unseen creatures, the scent of damp earth and pine. Fripp could feel a connection forming between them, a unique bond forged in a moment of shared peril and now being solidified by mutual trust. The boy was no longer an intruder, he was a guest in Fripp's world. As dusk painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, they reached a small, secluded clearing. Fripp knew they would be safe here. The boy, utterly exhausted from the day's ordeal, soon fell into a deep sleep beneath the protective gaze of his new guardian. Fripp watched over him, a storm of thoughts raging in his mind. He had saved the boy, but what would happen next? He had seen the cruelty of humans, their baseless fear. But he had also seen this boy's innocence, his complete trust. He began to wonder if all humans were the same. As the stars emerged one by one, Fripp made a decision. He would protect this child, not just from the forest's dangers, but from the boy's own kind as well. The next morning, the boy awoke to the sight of Fripp's red fur glowing like embers in the soft sunlight. Tentatively, he reached out a small hand and stroked the fox's head. Fripp didn't flinch. He allowed the touch, a quiet acknowledgement of their bond. They spent the day exploring together. Fripp showed the boy how to find sweet berries, how to track animal footprints, and how to listen to the language of the forest. It was a day filled with laughter and discovery, a day that cemented their unlikely friendship. But as evening approached again, Fripp sensed a change on the wind. The faint sounds of human voices grew stronger, carrying through the trees. They were looking for the boy. A bittersweet feeling settled in Fripp's heart. He knew what he had to do. It was time for the boy to return to his own world. He led the child back towards the edge of the forest, back towards the sounds of his family. As they stepped out from the cover of the trees, a woman and a man saw them. Relief washed over their faces as they cried out the boy's name and rushed forward, wrapping him in a tearful embrace. Before being led away, the boy looked back at Fripp, his eyes holding a silent promise, a shared secret that would forever connect them. Fripp stood at the forest's edge, watching until they were gone. He was Fripp, the guardian of the woods. And for a short time, he had been the guardian of a boy, a protector of the innocent. And he would never forget. Thanks for watching.